Rex is a farmer and currently spokesperson and technical consultant of the Philippine Association of Meat Processing Incorporated. Retiring in 2017 as Vice President and General Manager of the canned meats business of Century Pacific Food Incorporated, where he was Vice President of Monterey Farms Corporation of the San Miguel Foods from 1990 to 1997. He is the past president of the Philippine Association of Meat Processors, 1995, and graduated from UP Los Baños and AIM MDP. Thank you, Rex, for being with us.
Okay. Okay. You have the floor. We're 10 minutes early, but go ahead. It's better to be early than late. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're waiting for you. Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much for inviting us over. This is very timely because the Philippines is being hit by ASF. Our industry is being hit by ASF. I see a lot of efforts being done, but they are done individually. I see people throwing mud at each other to take advantage of the situation. I say this is a situation where we should get together. This is a situation where we should be able to solve this. This is not the first time that we are being hit by a disease like this. Maybe not of this nature, but the world applauded us when we were able to make the Philippines FMD-free by the processes and the efforts of people. We also got ourselves free of reindeer pest, and that was also a collective effort. I remember those were resolved by being constructive, those were resolved by helping each other, but those were resolved because government held hands. Opening statement, no government persons here. I like government, they work with us, but the case of ASF is an issue where government is not holding hands. The Department of Agriculture is treating this as a technical issue, solving it as a technical issue, forgetting that this is an economic issue for us. The Department of Health, when we ask them for help, they say, sorry Rex, our mandate is food safety. We know your product is safe, it ends here. Your problems in getting your goods through across provincial lines, across island lines is not an issue of us, it's an issue of the local governments. We go to Mon Lopez and say, Mon, you have to help us. Mon has been very helpful, but all that he could do is appeal. Government today seems to hear us, but I don't know if they really are listening to us. Today, the situation is such that, and some of my presentation materials I purposely left blank because I don't know how partisan this organization is. This is the first time I'm here. I came here with no Kevlar vest. I don't expect to be shut down.
This is a non-partisan group, non-partisan, open, and totally free exchange.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Actually, this is a disease of almost no proportion. This started out early on, Africa, but that was a long time ago. It only became current when it started to enter Eastern Europe, but it really became an issue for the Philippines when China was hit August, September of last year. But it further worsened in April when 39 provinces of China, essentially all the provinces of China, were hit by ASF. So it's a serious disease, and a disease that requires our action, but it is also a disease that should not be feared because it could be conquered. People look at the negatives of everything. I think it's correct to look at the negatives, but we should also look at the positives. If we scare ourselves about China with a population, big population of 442 million, having depopulated by over 100 million, it's scary. It's scary. But actually, I say this is a disease that is also played up by media, and I have always appealed to media, hey, you're not supposed to be here to sell newspapers, you're supposed to be here to tell the truth. When you show stories of pigs floating in the river, that's reality. But actually, please don't dwell on that because actually it is, first of all, ASF, sorry. ASF, okay.
Okay.
I should use my
Yeah, yeah,
format.
please,
Maybe
please,
I
please,
will
yeah,
forget
please.
my format. But
Please, we can pause for a while. Go ahead. Yeah.
maybe before I proceed, I'd like to tell you about our organization. I actually represent the Philippine Association of Meat Processors. We are a 30-year-old company, really. We are composed of about 85 member companies, and our franchise, our mandate, is to help each other for the progress of the food industry, the meat processing industry of the Philippines, and actually specifically on the issue of food safety. Uh, Yeah, well, this is blah blah, but yes, we have always been an advocate of consumer education. Early on, with the help actually of also foreign governments, we were able to train graduates who today are already managing big businesses here in the food business. We hope that this venue, with a lot of people from other nations, we were helped by Netherlands early on, and those people that Netherlands assisted actually has become already heads of companies. Uh, that aside, I'd like to tell you about the Philippine meat processing industry because this will impact my future discussions on ASF. The meat processing industry in the Philippines is not a small industry. It's a 300 billion industry. Actually, it's a 300 billion industry. It's almost the size of the hog racing industry. Racing industry is, I think, 270 billion. So we are 300. A little bigger, a little bigger. We hire directly about 150 people. So anything that impacts the industry,
150,000.
sorry, 150,000 people. So if this issue is not handled properly, people, as it is, we have already scaled down on our production, and I'll tell you later why. Total industry output in 2018 was about 871,000 metric tons. It means nothing. But if you equate this with the total meat consumption of the Philippines, when I equate things with things, I always say I do it apple to apple. So we produce products that are boneless. Therefore, I took the Philippine Statistics Office data on production of pork, production of beef, production of chicken, took out the bones. So on a boneless basis, which is similar to what we have, believe it or not, the processed meats industry in the Philippines today is actually already 25% of the meat consumption of Filipinos. This, of course, includes what we eat in food service. If you cook it further, considering that processed meats are almost already cooked, and meat, actually, mind you, if you have 1 kilo of beef, you boil it, you should be left only with 650 grams of beef. If you use buffalo, you're only going to be left with 550 grams. So again, cook to cook basis, the Philippine meat processing industry is about 34% of the meat consumption in the Philippines. So when people belittle the industry, I say please do not, because it contributes much to the economy and it contributes much to the food security. I just broke it down and I said when we are 871, the formal traditional branded is just actually about 600,000 metric tons. The 271 are food service volumes and the backyard producers that are also huge.
When you talk of the process, you're talking both pork and beef?
It's pork and beef, yes.
Pork and beef. What's the ratio
Wow.
between the two?
Generally, we use more, I'm not prepared, I have it here somewhere, but we are actually used more pork than beef.
Pork.
Maybe to my mind is we are producing only 103,000 metric tons of beef in the Philippines. Believe it or not, the Philippines imports more than that. The total production of the Philippines of beef is only 103,000 metric tons, boneless. The total imports of the Philippines for beef is 131,000 metric tons. This is why I say, and this is a preamble actually to what I'm going to say later, when some industries say, let's take out imports. Please do not. Please look at the numbers before you do that. When it comes to pork, actually, the Philippines when you compute down to boneless basis the total Philippine pork production, it should be around 1.3 million metric tons
Per year.
per year. If you look at the total pork imports that we do, it's about 340,000 metric tons. So actually, that's about 24%. 24% of the pork that we consume in the Philippines are imported. I would like to say this because later on I will touch on something that is proposed by some other industries to take out imports.
In beef, it's the reverse.
No, we don't really want. We should still have food security, internal production, but I guess the Philippines should not dream of being totally independent of the world. I think the word today is interdependence. Independence is nice, but I think it's not anymore. Here, again, this is something that some of the nationalists here will say, hey, we are Filipinos. How come 90 to 95% of the total raw materials that your industry uses is imported? It's not a matter of choice, actually. It's not. In the case of pork, the format needed by the meat processing industry is something that cannot be provided by the local. In the Philippines, pork is sold as hanging carcasses with the bones. We processors, one of the biggest imports of the processors is actually pork fat. Pork fat because the flavor of things comes from the fat. We import, the second biggest pork import item in the Philippines is pork fat. So, in the Philippines, you cannot buy pork fat. You cannot. You cannot go to the market, please, can I buy? Actually, the Philippines, I think, buys about 70,000 or 70 million kilos of pork fat. Can we buy that from the local industry? No, we cannot. When I came in here, I thought that the hog raisers were going to be here, but I come actually with no Kevlar vest. So I say, these numbers, I will defend them. I say, please, I know that sometimes they also come here. I always refer to my numbers as PSA numbers. So actually, this is, I think, a good way to look at things. Now, pork. Why can't I buy local pork, even if the pork industry is also big in the Philippines? It's because I buy bellies for my bacon. I buy them boneless. I cannot buy the liempo with the bones. No, I cannot. I will lose if I do that. Actually, what else do I buy? I buy shoulders. I buy hams. The format, and this is where if there is a government person here, I tell you, sometimes industry fight because government does not support. Hog raisers many times have wanted to convert their materials from animals to cats. And during the time of Mrs. Soledad Agbayani, years ago, she decided to put up a cooperative here of pig farmers. And but Filipinos will always be Filipinos. I say this in front of you. I'm sorry. I mean, we Filipinos should fix ourselves. When the price of pigs are low, they sell it to the cooperatives, try to sell it to us. When the price of pigs are high, Filipinos as we are, we pole vault. What happened to Mrs. Agbayani? We pole vault. We sell to the higher bidder, even if we make commitments to the cooperatives. That's why I say, we Filipinos, we should discipline ourselves. We Filipinos, we don't really love our country. Mrs. Agbayani died very sad because it was a very big dream that she had. I know somebody tried to dream that out again, tried to put up a slaughterhouse here, but the slaughterhouse ended as a slaughterhouse. We processors, we buy frozen materials because we should, when we want to take it out of the cold store and we want to produce, we just take it out. That project in Batangas that actually benefited from the ASF fund was a very nice project. It was well thought of. How come they did not put a freezing and cut floor component to that? You know why? Because it was the government who did it. If it was a private industry who did it with the motivation to make money, then the cold storage and the cut floor should have been put in. Today it's rusting. I know the government is trying to put up again some, but I just wish that the motivation for that should be to make money, not just to dole out funds to people. So,
where is that facility, Batangas? The cold storage facilities, where is that now?
Yeah, there's one in Batangas that benefited from the ASF, the ASF fund,
Yeah.
but it did not have the cut floor component, nor did it have the freezing component. So what did it end up? A mothball project.
Yeah.
So for the local swine industry, we have always wanted to buy. We have always wanted to buy, but the format is different. So, and maybe this is why we cannot see each other eye to eye, but I hope that, hopefully with your help, we should be, with your help, maybe they could be convinced, with government's help, they should be able to work together with us. For chicken, again, this is something that people say, hey, you import chicken, you import smuggled chicken. Guys, what we import is mechanically deboned chicken. Mechanically deboned chicken is, the format is like a paste. All of us who were born a long time ago with white hairs already, we remember those times when we had pomade for the hair. It was a slurry. MDM is a slurry. It does not compete with the local meat processing industry. So when people say that you processors, you bring in and you compete with the local industry, I say, sir, no. MDM is something that we cannot fry into fried chicken. MDM is something that we cannot cook into tinola. MDM is a processing material, very good value processing material. This is only available in countries where their poultry production is so big. In the Philippines, Filipinos, we eat the rib cages. We like it without tinola. It's nice to eat the meat that sticks with the ribs. In the Western world, you don't do that. You throw the rib cage into machines that mechanically takes out the meat. That is what we use as a raw material. This is the reason why we have grown. This is because we have availed of materials that are cheap, but also very good in protein value. So to the chicken industry, or those of you who have friends in the chicken industry, we are not competing with the chicken business. We are not. 70% of what we bring in are chicken MDM. For the total beef, this is what I was saying earlier, that the total imports of the Philippines is bigger than the internal production. Of course, we also import buffalo from India. Please don't belittle buffalo. Buffalo is a nice processing material. It has very good water holding properties. It has very good fiber. But we Filipinos, we say, oh, it's Carabao. So we stay away from it. No, as a processing material, it's a good material. Here now, with that as the backdrop, let's go to the African swine fever. First statement, and I attended a reunion or a party of chemists from UST last Saturday. I was very surprised at their perception that ASF, they were afraid of ASF. They were not eating pork. I had to tell them that, hey, ASF does not transfer to human beings. ASF is only for pigs. Even if you hold an ASF virus, it will not transfer to you. Of course, you could be a carrier, but you will not get sick. Second statement is, and I wish that...
In other words, even if you eat it?
Even if you eat it, because if you're not going to get sick with it, ASF does not affect human beings. ASF, good morning, Bombit. You help me with difficult questions, okay. So it should be Bombit who should be talking here. He is my mentor. Okay. ASF actually does not affect human beings. It does not. No, it does not. Please convince people that it does not, because it is factual. It's OIE data, it's USDA, AFHIS data, it's the world's data. It does not affect human beings. I have to keep repeating because even chemists are confused. AFS is a very heat-intolerant virus, believe it or not.
Heat intolerant.
Heat intolerant. It could be easily inactivated. At 60 degrees, the temperature of coffee served hot actually is about 65.
Okay.
65 to 79 is the temperature of coffee. Here, it's inactivated at 60. 60 is actually the temperature of, if you set your shower to high,
Yeah.
It's a little over 60, it's about 65. So that kills the organism. The organism is very, very heat sensitive. So if we cook it like Filipinos cook sinigang, our sinigang cooking temperature is 103. It's 100, but with the salt in there, it raises the boiling point to 103. So the sinigang that we eat at 103 and the organism is killed at 60, hey, let's not scare each other. It is a disease that we should control, but it should not be blown out of proportion. Pork chop, I have to put here because pork chop, of course, many of us, temperature of the oil in pork chop is 190. This organism gets killed at 60. So it's safe.
Why are we scared of it? Why are we scared of it? Why are we scared?
Why are we scared of it? It's because, and I tell my media friends, please help us. You tend to show actually the floating carcasses in the river. It's wrong to throw it in the river, but please help us because that is not the way. The perception actually is something that is more important than the truth many times. And I tell you this, 3 months ago, we were not yet having this ASF disease. But we already were aware. We wrongfully, I would say, wrongfully on the basis of science, wrongfully decided to say that maling can transmit the disease. It was very wrong because the maling cooking temperature is over 116. But then, at that time, maybe nobody cared. But for we in the industry, we said, it's okay. Let's have maling taken out of the shelves because we will benefit. We have our own brands of luncheon meat. You know what happened? The negative perception on luncheon meat up till today lingers. Volume of the industry, local, because of what was shown, dropped by over 30%. So we thought we will benefit, no, we will not. Here again, I'll go in and out, but here you will see now that Governor Gwen Garcia and Governor Art Yap, and I heard that Negros also has a signed document that is just ready to be released. And recently, the Governor of Davao Oriental implemented a total and unconditional ban on the movement of pork meat and processed meat products into their system. And they put here actually a span of 90 to 100 days. We in the industry, our stocks of these materials are only about 2, maximum 4 weeks. So if they don't come to their senses, they will run out of materials. I'm not scaring them, but I'm just saying that if it is safe, why do you have to ban it? But I don't blame Governor Gwen. I don't blame Art Yap. I think it's the information that gets wrong, but I also blame government for not acting at all on these issues. And I'll tell you why later.
But in effect, you're saying the swine fever affects the pig, the animal itself, not the humans.
Yes.
So it reduces the weight.
No, the mortality rate, once a pig is hit by AFS, it's almost certain it's going to die. The chances of recovery is very, very slim. It's almost, I think there's no pig recovers when it's hit. That's why it's scary. But so it should be controlled from the animal health standpoint.
Not from the human health.
Not from the human health. Let's digress. How did this get in here anyway? Where did it come in? Went into Rizal. Rizal actually is an industry of backyard raisers. And I say, we who are big brothers should help our young brothers. I think the swine industry and the government should assist them and tell them, if you see the extent of swill feeding in Rizal, you will be very surprised. I was very surprised. The swill feeding there comes actually from everywhere here, from
What do you mean swill feeding?
swill, actually leftovers of restaurants, leftovers of airplanes, leftovers of are brought here, and they're sold actually One sack, I was told, is 20 pesos. But that is actually not temperature controlled. At room temperature, you know what happens? It ferments. If there's anything there, it will grow. I say, government, let's not look at what is on the surface, let's assist. And Big Brother, hug raisers, let's teach the young brothers. Because we have the ability to teach. So here, it's water under the bridge, it has happened. We just have to say, it should not happen again. But why did I get to this?
In other words, it's still edible even if it touches the leaf.
I got carried away, sorry.
Okay, okay.
Okay. The last bullet is a statement that canned processed meat products are safe. Last week, that was about Thursday evening, we were together and our salespeople panicked. Sir, Ma'am Gwen is pulling out of the shelves in Cebu pork and beans. We said, of all products, pork and beans. It's a very small pork. I mean, you who are not from the Philippines, try to open a can of pork and beans, you realize it's very small. It's possibly 5 milliliters by 5 millimeters because of the price of pork. It was taken out, and it's still out of the shelves right now. Again, what impact will that have on consumer perception? We hope, we pray, will not be as big as this. But here, hot dogs, even hot dogs, the cooking temperature of hot dogs is 72. 72, and I think this is you who are not from the industry, the rules of the meat processing in the Philippines is actually borrowed from America. There was a time when trichina was a disease that actually was scared, that the Americans were scared about, and the kill temperature of trichina is about 70, 72. This is why we cook our hot dog to 70, 72. But trichina is no longer actually an issue, but it has remained. Luckily, it has remained, so we are prepared for this.